to step up for Newcastle United. Job done for him.
His performances right now is not good enough for him to be starting football games for Newcastle unless he decides to use his right foot, because at times he's stuck.
What a return to St James's Park. This season has been a real struggle at times.
Chris Wood, people were desperate for him to leave this football club, and he's just turned into prime Benzema today.
We get a chance to train probably for the first time in months, so let's hope that makes a difference to how we look. I think when you're in this position as a Premier League manager, there's pressure in every turn.
This is NFTV. Welcome everybody. It is currently 11:30 in the morning as Newcastle United face Nottingham Forest at St James's Park. Lee is on his way into the grounds. Stay tuned for the last word, which is coming up later on this video. But Newcastle need to bounce back after a appalling display away to Luton. Forest have coming off a 3-2 defeat against Bournemouth, and they have a new manager, so hopefully no manager bounce in this fixture.
Well, the two clubs last met on Boxing Day in 1958 when Nottingham Forest defeated Newcastle 3-1 here at St James's Park. Remarkably to us these days, the following day they completed the double by winning 3-0 at the City Ground. Gordon, Miley through for Isak, who goes down. Penalty kick! Just as he was trying to wriggle free, and just as he saw the goal in front of him, the legs were taken, and Newcastle United on the 20-minute mark have a chance to open the scoring.
Well, it's a lovely passage of play, because Newcastle managed to play through the lines all the way from the back. Miley is on the ball. Everybody, including myself, thinks that pass is going to go to Almiron. He uses his eyes. It's an incredible pass, and Isak just lets it roll across him, as all good strikers do. And you're inviting the challenge.
Isak it is then, to step up for Newcastle United. Job done for him. Festive football feels fantastic when your team is winning. So well Newcastle fans might celebrate, especially after their recent run of results.
And where Isak puts his penalties, they're not exactly massive, clinical, into the top corner or wide. What he does very well, he watches the goalkeeper, he waits for the goalkeeper to make the decision first.
On towards Elanga, who can skip away from most in the Premier League. Chris Wood in the middle, and Dubravka made it his. Gibbs White now. Through for Elanga. Chris Wood is there! Wouldn't you just know it? How often does this happen? Back on familiar turf, back on the score sheet. Chris Wood, formerly of Newcastle United, taps it home for Nottingham Forest. Advantage played by Chris Kavanagh, and on goes Chris Wood, and what a finish that is! He just kept on going and going and going, and the advantage from Chris Kavanagh played a key role in the goal, which was so well taken.
Chris Kavanagh, because what you'll find, it's that counter-attacking moment once again, the transition with Elanga's pace.
What a return to St James's Park! This season has been a real struggle at times, but you wouldn't know it based on that strike or this performance from Nottingham Forest. They have come here, they have turned the game around, and they lead 3-1 in Newcastle United's backyard. Trying to tempt it into the middle for Wilson. Opportunity for the strike. Into the mix it goes for Isak. Turner in the way. Who wants it more? Was there an arm in the mix there?
Loads of fans just leaving the ground. Only in the 86th minute.
That is that. Nuno Espirito Santo is up and running as Forest boss, while Newcastle United's frustrating campaign suffers another potentially damaging setback. Forest needed that. The team, the fans, the whole club needed a win. But for Newcastle United, that is 6 defeats in 7 in all competitions as their season continues to falter. It's a result that barely seemed possible when Alexander Isak stroked home the opener, but stepped forward Chris Wood, formerly of this parish, to bag a match-winning hat-trick and 3 huge Forest points. Newcastle United 1, Nottingham Forest 3.
Full-time at St James's Park and Newcastle United have been beaten. A former ghost has come back and haunted them at Christmas, as Chris Wood has bagged a hat-trick and sent the Magpies home with no points. The run of form of Newcastle is alarming. We're going to join Lee and Johnny with some very strong words on the next part of the last word.
How do you want to do it, Johnny? Do you want to just get straight to the point and talk about the goals after?
Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want to do. That was an absolute joke today. It was an absolute disgrace of performance. That defence and whatever defensive midfield that we had was an absolute joke today. Fair play to Nottingham Forest. The fans were absolutely fantastic. Chris Wood, people were desperate for him to leave this football club, and he's just turned into prime Benzema today. Absolutely outstanding performance by them. Fair play to them. They'll have a great trip back and wish them all the best. But that performance from Newcastle United, that second half performance in particular, what on earth was that? That defence was an absolute joke.
It's not just today though, Johnny. You looked at the Luton game.
No, but it's all right, Lee. We were tired. We were tired. That's why we got beat. That's why we got beat at Luton. That's why we got beat today. That's why, we made mistakes against Chelsea in the League Cup quarter-final. I am sick of that excuse. It's not because of that. We are making genuine errors. And today, Nuno Espirito Santo actually bossed us tactically, particularly second half. He has allowed Morgan Gibbs-White the time and the space, the freedom of St James's Park, and going, look, we will find you. If we can find you, then you do what you need to do. You get Hudson-Odoi involved. You get Alanga involved. It went past our fullbacks like they weren't even there at times. It was frightening. It was an absolute joke. And then, just at moments of absolute stupidity, we're just letting Chris Wood dazzle for our defence. Chris Wood. People, like I say, people were desperate for him to leave the football club. It's his best performance at St James's Park, Chris Wood.
Look, you've already seen the lineups on your screens about the lineup. I've seen it on Twitter just before the game. People are a little bit upset that Dan Burn just comes straight back into that lineup. Livermento's on the bench. The Jamal Lascelles injury helps, because that would have been another debate. But Joe Litton on the bench. But where do you stand with this Dan Burn coming straight back in? Is it fair on Livermento?
But Livermento's played a lot of games. I get that, but he's in form. I don't think Dan Burn did nothing wrong to go to start. But we all know the player that's not in form is Kieran Trippier is not in form. And if we're being honest, with Kieran Trippier, we mentioned this against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge last week when we were there. He's been absolutely brilliant. He's been fantastic since he's arrived at Newcastle. But right now, Tino Livramento deserves to start in front of him.
Where, left back or right back?
Well, God knows at the minute. God knows. He was the only player that looked half decent off the bench against Luton. We're playing a team today who have got very fast wingers, pacey wingers. And I'm not disappointed that Kieran Trippier started today. I'm not, and I'm not just blaming him. But at the minute, he's not on form. Our best fullback at the minute is Tino Livramento, and he has to start. And where he starts, I don't know, but he has to start.
Is this not a sign that it's happening though, Johnny? Because we were at Chelsea, and we literally just were scored. Very fortunate. We thought, right, we're going to park the bus. And that tactic for me was like, we're better than that. And then we'll go to Luton. And then Luton, I mean, that was I'm sorry, but that was a shit. That was a Bruce performance. I said that was Steve. That was probably the worst performance of the season up to now. And then we've come today. We've gone in front again, and it's not the first time. I think it's the third or fourth time we've gone in front. We can't hold on, and we just self-destruct. Is the signs there now that this was coming?
100%. Like, look, let's be honest. We've been brilliant at home all season. Bar Liverpool, last 10 minutes against Liverpool, we've been absolutely outstanding at home. I can't take anything away, but you judge it game on game, and that performance today, even the first half, which I thought we had chances. Let's be honest, we had chances, but Nottingham Forest had 3 or 4 good chances. If it wasn't for Dubravka keeping us in the game, in the first half, we could have been behind before even half time. The only two players for me that get a pass mark are the two players that get the goal today, and that's Lewis Miley,
I agree.
a 17-year-old who, let's be honest, arguably one of the first names on the team sheet at the minute, arguably. And then you've got Alexander Isak, who's only just come back into the game and come back into this sort of team because he's been injured and you can't keep him fit all the time. If you did, you get an unbelievable player. Today, them two are the only two that get a pass mark. Isak was the only one that when he had the ball, you think, right, he can do something today. He can actually do something. Puts his penalty away very well. Lewis Miley, that pass, he should be making that pass at 17 years old. That's how good of a pass it is. To slide it into the path of Isak in the defender's wrong side, it's an unbelievable pass. But they're the only two, Lee, that get a pass mark today. Maybe Dubravka with making a couple of saves in the first half, but we're clutching at straws here.
We are, but if I said to you, Luton and Forest, I think, oh, great. We've scored one goal and we haven't picked up any points from those two games.
We've conceded 4 goals. That's the most frustrating thing in the more.
What's more worrying, look what's happening in January. We've got Liverpool, which we've got an awful record at Anfield. We've got, for me, the biggest game of the season, because I've said that last week and I'll say it again, that's make or break for me. The Sunderland game, it's now pinpointed on that. And then you've got Villa and City on the horizon as well. It's like, welcome to January.
Look, if we're being really, really picky, the midfield for Newcastle is a good midfield when it wants to be. You can put anybody in that sort of midfield, and it's a good midfield. But we're crying out for a number 6. I've been saying it for so long.
We've not got one.
No. Well,
who's banned?
Who's your number 6?
But he's banned, isn't he?
I wouldn't class Tonali as a number 6 from what I've seen.
Well, today for me, I'm not saying Tonali would play there often, but he's probably the best out of them.
Maybe so,
but we didn't have any protection at all. I know there's the goals, which we'll talk about, but the defence for me, they didn't have anybody sitting and just protecting.
No, but this is what we've been crying out for. We've been crying out for a number 6. Look, if that is Calvin Phillips, people can disagree in the comments or agree in the comments whether we need him or not. But if that is Calvin Phillips, you just stick him in there, and then you just go, right, you're sweeping up everything. Because Bruno, love him or hate him, or whatever you want to say about him, fantastic midfielder. He's been unbelievable for Newcastle. He is not a number 6. He's not. He's a number 8. You could argue he's a number 4 at times, but he's not a number 6. You need someone in there to just go, right, I am going to make sure that no one gets past me, essentially. I don't want my defence to even get bothered at all today. And if it does get there, it's just little neat little passes left and right. But today the defence was all over the place, particularly second half. Second half, it was. I've not seen a poor performance second half like that at St James's probably since Cambridge. That's how good it's been. But you look at that second half today, all over the shop.
And I'm going to sound very disrespectful for what I'm about to say, but Johnny, it's Nottingham Forest and it's Luton.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. You're talking about a team that are just out the relegation soon.
We had Carl from the channel. He was saying that we're a victim of our own success now because of how well we've done, where we expect to get results.
Hold on. I expect us to beat Nottingham Forest at home.
I expect us to beat Luton away.
Exactly. It's not. I'm not asking for. I'm not saying we're not playing Man City. We're not playing Liverpool or Arsenal. With the greatest of respect, we're playing Nottingham Forest, who haven't won a game away from home all season. They've just changed manager. They've just lost 3-2 against Bournemouth at home. They'll be coming here going, I do.
And Luton didn't keep a clean sheet until we played them.
Yeah, but Forest will be coming here thinking, I'll take a point today if you're offering us it right now. And we're coming in today thinking a 2-1 or 3-1. How long's left? Ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous.
We will talk about the goals now. We scored. And I'll come back to that question again. The build-up was there. It was, as you mentioned, we went 1-0 up. But the thing is, Johnny, that even though we'll go 1-0 up for the penalty, I look at it and think, right, how many times have we threw it away this season? And that's all I can think of at the minute, because everyone's talking about the away form is shocking, which has to improve. But it's not just that now. We're throwing away leads. How many times we looked at Liverpool, Milan, Chelsea, the Cup? There's probably another one. Forest today.
It's different. It's different in that sense, because those teams that you've mentioned, it was game management, and it was more, we need to make sure that we can get through this. Today it wasn't game management. There was just a lack of urgency, a lack of creativity going forward. Similar against Chelsea. Not Chelsea, sorry, similar against Luton. There was just no creativity going forward. And there's questions that have to be asked now. Is Miguel Almiron good enough to be playing on the right-hand side for Newcastle if he hasn't got a right foot? How many times today he had the chance to pass it in the right foot, and he turns back in on his left and plays it back to Trippier. If you use your right foot, worst case scenario, you're getting a corner. You're getting a corner, and he's getting in a good position.
So we'll talk about that. What's he worried about? So you're running down the byline, right? And you're a footballer who trains 3-4 times a week for 4 hours a day, right? What's he worried about? I know it's a confidence thing, but surely you're a professional footballer. You're an international.
He's why he's cutting in certain areas back onto his left foot. It's beyond
that a coaching thing that the club, Eddie Howe, Simon Weatherstone, Tyndall.
There's 2 or 3 managers that have had a go at it. Benitez had a go at it. Bruce had a go at Liverpool, and Eddie Howe has. And look, he's had moments of seeing what he can do. Last season, what a purple patch he had. Arguably, player of the season last season at times. But his performances right now is not good enough for him to be starting football games for Newcastle unless he decides to use his right foot, because at times he's stuck. If you've got the ball there and you play it through, and you've got to make a cross with your right, okay? Worst case scenario, if it doesn't, Newcastle fans will not be having a go at Miguel Almiron if he uses his right foot and it hits a defender and it goes out for a throw in. Because I tell you what, because there'll be one moment where he does hit with his right foot, and a Callum Wilson or an Anthony Gordon is on the edge of the box, and you get a chance for a goal. If they miss, that's their fault. It's not Miguel Almiron's fault in that sense. But if you don't supply the product there to him, what you're meant to do, you're stuck in a situation where you go back to your left foot and you start again, you allow Forest to go back to where they want to be. And that is so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And I feel like I'm picking on him today. For me, the defence deserve more blame than Almiron does. But you cannot do the same thing over and over and over again, because if you do, you're not going to play. Simple as that. You got
cost you a goal, because it did.
It did. Look, that first goal, I know you wanted to talk about the goals. The first goal, everyone will touch about Almiron not making the right decision. I said this to the guy next to me. If Miguel Almiron makes the right decision 30% more often, he gets double the amount of goals than he assists. Because that's what we're talking about here. Getting either making sure it's the right pass or the right through ball, or the right shot at the right time. But Kieran Trippier's got to take out Morgan Gibbs-White. He's got to take him out on halfway. Take the yellow card. I know he tried to sort of trip him and play the advantage. Take him down. Take him down. It's half time. It's half time. You can defend the set piece, but when it goes down to the right hand side, I think Burns just kind of slightly hasn't timed the run well from the pass. Plays it back, and Chris Wood's got a simple tap in. But who's marking Chris Wood? Who's marking Chris Wood for the first goal?
But I mean, I've kind of jumped. Obviously, a great pass by was it Miley to find Isak for our first goal, and Isak steps up, and obviously we're on the attack there, and Miggy, you've just literally mentioned it. He's got a 50-50 decision. Do I use my right foot? Do I shoot? He's got 3 decisions: shoot, pass, or use my right foot. He doesn't do either. He passes straight to them. Forest are on the counter attack. Bang, 1-1.
But the thing is, everyone will be talking about Miggy, but Trippier deserves a telling off. You take him out. Take him out. You take him at half time. You take him out. Morgan Gibbs-White, we mentioned the second half. Probably, I know Chris Wood scored the goals, but he was the playmaker.
Chris Wood scored the first one?
Yeah. They got a hat-trick. Chris Wood? Yeah.
I thought you only got 2.
No, you got a hat-trick. Chris Wood got a hat-trick.
You were joking.
But this is what I'm saying. Who's marking Chris Wood? Allowing the space on literally a 1 yard tap in. He can't miss. But you've got to take him out at half time. I'm sorry. Miggy's at fault as well, but 6s and 7s.
Yeah, we're going into half time, and I actually think Newcastle probably were the better team, shaded in that first half. But the second half, you've already touched upon it, Johnny. And this isn't quite the structured last word that we normally do, because we've got to get it off our chest and stuff. But those 2 goals, I'm not going to talk about the other chances and stuff like that.
Lee,
but
I must mention one chance. If you didn't want to know what Nottingham Forest were going to do in that second half, you can literally tell in the first 30 seconds it should have been 2-1 up. Gibbs-White has a header.
I know.
Literally, Burn gets done for pace, crosses it in. How does Gibbs-White have a free header? Free header. If he gets on target, it's in. Whistles past the post, saying, that'll probably bite them on the arse, because if we wake up,
I only literally just seen the header because the cross coming in. I sat down.
If we wake up, we might be able to win this game. But you're going, fucking hell. Let's hope that's the only chance they get. It wasn't.
Yeah, let's talk about the Chris Wood's second goal and the third goal, because the similar way he breaks through. That second one's worse than the other one, because the third one is an offside as he on, but we haven't seen it back. That's the thing. We might change our minds when we say it back and stuff, because the signal here is awful, but whoever's at fault, whether it's the protection of the midfield, whether it's Trippier, whether it's Shea, whoever it is, how has Chris Wood managed to go around and then find himself one-on-one with Dubravka? Great finish, little dink, brilliant finish. But how is he allowed to do that? How does he have the freedom to gun and score?
It's beggars belief, Lee. It's beggars belief. Fair play to him. Fair play to him. He takes his goal really, really well. If that was an Isak, we'd be going, wow, what a goal that was, by the way. If that was whoever you want it to be.
You just set off camera, he's got any pace.
But he might not have pace, but what he has done, he's kept the ball so well. That's what he did all day. He had Fabian Schär and Sven Bottom behind him, and he's literally just almost at times throughout the whole game chest it down, win free kicks, make it difficult, get likes of Hudson Odoi and Alanga into the game, make it really, really difficult for Newcastle afternoon. That's what he did. But going on to his second goal, whoever he's turned inside the box, it's fantastic play. But if I'm a defender, just stand him up. Just stand him up and try and take him a little bit towards his left foot.
From what I remember, and again I haven't seen it back, but it kind of feels like when I was seeing it back, the defence don't know where the ball's bounced, and that's the hesitation.
But that's calamity. Yeah. You know, that's literally, you can get the Benny Hill theme tune for that if you want, because that is calamity. Great
song.
Yeah, look, great finish, little dink left foot. But if I'm Eddie Howe, I'm looking at my defence going, how on earth is one player that just managed to kind of just go around and just make it so easy and make it so comfortable? It's a great finish, and you can't say that Forest didn't deserve that. You can't say that for the way they started the second half and probably towards the back end of the first. They deserved to be 2-1 up at that point.
And then the third one, he breaks the offside trap, and it's similar because he's on that, like, where I am the gallery, obviously you know where I sit, and it's like it's kind of in between the centre-back, our right centre-back and right back, that gap there, and he's found it again, he's broke through. Look, it's 50-50, he could give it onside, but he's managed to find himself onside through the VAR check. And it's 3-1, and then everyone's like shocked. The whole stadium is just shocked at just what's happened. It's like, had a minute, Chris Wood, so we're laughing because everyone was laughing at us because we bought him for 25 million. Then we were laughing.
He looked like a £50 million striker today, didn't he?
And then we were laughing because we got 15 million to sell him on. But it's 3-1. It's like, and I'm literally scratching my head thinking,
but Lee, fair play.
How?
It's a good finish. He can't really miss. He takes it around the goalkeeper. But whatever that defensive line was meant to be, you've probably seen under 12s, under 15s with a better defensive line. Like, you're not talking about a pacey striker.
That's the thing.
How is someone like Chris Wood, with the greatest of respect to him, breaking our offside trap? This is a defence that we've been talking about for the last 18 months, been absolutely fantastic. We look like we missed Jamal Lascelles today, like we really did. Just missed that little bit of leadership at the back. Like I say, Trippier's got no confidence. Fabian Schär, I don't think has been as good as what people have said the last 3 or 4 games. You know, Dan Burn just come back from injury. I don't know if Livramento was even on the pitch at that point. I'm assuming he was, but look, for me, there's got to be the first. If I could get a magic wand, right, number 6. You get a number 6, and that sometimes doesn't even happen. But today it was very amateurish, and it was bordering unprofessional defensively today. For that second and third goal, it was unprofessional defending. It was really, really poor.
We will talk about what it means for Eddie Howe because there will be some criticism coming his way, but this is what the gaffer has said.
I don't think there's one reason. I think there's a whole combination of different things that are hurting us at the moment. But we've got a strong group, and we'll have to be strong in these moments because it's not easy. But we'll look to bounce back. Regardless of our opponent, I think first and foremost we have to get our performance right. And today, I don't think we were far away, but the result tells a different story. So, as always, I think now we get a chance to train probably for the first time in months. So let's hope that makes a difference to how we look. I think when you're in this position as a Premier League manager, there's pressure in every turn.
There was a few boos, I don't know if you heard at the end there. Not loads, but it was a small portion of the Gallagher corner, the boos there. Rightly so, I have to say, the performance and whether.
But why people clapping them off?
Is that? Do you know, this is the thing that Adam said in our chat, is like, people are people too scared to criticise someone or a thing or a project because it's done so well? I always say no, because as a channel we go game by game and we review a game like we are doing now, game by game. We could go and sneak, God forbid, a win at Anfield. It would be all praise, but today it simply wasn't good enough for Eddie Howe.
It wasn't good enough today, and I think first half the game plan pretty went went to plan. Look, Forest had the moments, but you're thinking, well, they might get the odd moment, but we'll control the game, and we did. We had a lot of possession in the first half, but we get to a certain point in the pitch, and we're kind of like, oh, what do we do? And it was only really Isak in the second half on the left where you thought, actually, if someone's on a sort of like a similar wavelength to him, might be able to get a goal, might get ourselves back into the game here. But that first half performance didn't take our chances, did not take our chances, and defensively we allowed Nottingham Forest too many chances. And again, I go back, I think the first goal is so crucial. I think it's so crucial. If you can get it at 1-0, re-evaluate, think, well, look, we're 1-0 up, but we're a bit lucky to be 1-0 up. We've had chances, but we're not really having like clear-cut chances. Like Matt Turner's not really had to make an unreal save. He's like had a head at the far post where it's straight at him, but we've not been good enough to really be hammering it home and going, we should be 2 or 3-0 up, in my opinion. I think Forest had 4 good chances in that first half. At half-time, they had 8 shots to our 7 at St James's. Let's be honest, that shouldn't be happening. Second half, we went a bit gung-ho. We did, and it was just too gung-ho. I understand being 3-1 at home, you need to try and get back into the game. But they're schoolboy defending, and I go back to it, and that has to be looked at. I understand there's been so many games, and thank God they've got a week off. It could have been absolutely anybody. It doesn't matter who we're playing on New Year's Day. Like Liverpool away is always going to be a tough game, but they need to look at that game and re-evaluate, because that was so poor. Like Liverpool are going to get so many chances against us if we defend like that.
We're not even scoring goals. Look at the goals for column at the minute, which early in the season Newcastle were at the top of all the stats.
I think the worrying thing for me was, well, there's 2 things that stand out in that second half. The fact that Callum Wilson didn't do anything today. Came on more than, I think, 35, 36 minutes. I think I remember 3 touches of the ball today, and 2 of them were kick-offs. Yeah. And that's worrying, but I don't know how much this pissed you off. We're going for a 50-50 with their centre-half. I think it's Murillo. And ends up dancing through...
Yeah, the Brazilian.
Literally winning that challenge, going through to our box. If he had scored from there, I think about 25,000 Newcastle fans would have gone absolutely fucking mental at that moment in time, because I'm thinking, how's he won the 50-50 when there's 3 players around him in the end? And the fact that he's managed to just dance through the defence and dance through our midfield, our non-existent midfield, too gung-ho, and Eddie Howe has to re-evaluate it.
There's 3 questions I'm going to put into one. First, is Eddie Howe under pressure? And there's 3 questions that go inside of that. 1 from the fans, 2 from the media, and 3 PIF. And I'm talking not Amanda, I'm talking Yasser.
If I'm taking the emotion out of what I've just said, we're currently 7th in the table. We don't know where we're going to be by the end of the 28th when everybody's played. But we're 7th in the table. We're not good enough to be in the Champions League next season.
I think that's done.
We're not good enough.
I think we won't qualify for that now.
We need to get on a run to even think about getting back into that conversation. But at the minute, we're just not good enough to get into that conversation. We're just not. The pressure will come from the fans against Sunderland. Because if, as much as it sounds so stupid at times, because we're playing, it's an FA Cup game if we look at it from that, but it's such a big game and people are already talking about it now, and it's, well, ever since the draw really. But Newcastle and Sunderland, for that matter, are playing that bang average at best. Like, it's going to be an awful game to watch. Like it's so poor. But if you're on the question you're asking me, I don't think he's under immediate pressure by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think, no one's asking him to be sacked anytime soon. But he will be judged on results, and the results away from home and the result today is pathetic. Like,
it's
one
not,
away
it's
win.
Not just that; it's the performances as well. Because if Yasser says, right, that's it, and it's not just that, you can say, well, Chelsea performance, yes, lottery, we went out. Luton performance, Forest today performance. Are we expecting anything from? We will take a defeat at Liverpool. We'll say we'll get beat off Liverpool because we've got an awful record there. Why are you driving there, then, Lee?
No, we need a performance from Liverpool.
And then the Mackhams, because it'll all crank up. It's building up to that game now, because if we get beat, Johnny, and God, you just mentioned we're locals, we work with Mackhams, you know, you've got Mackhams in your household, well, not your household, your family. It's there, it's everywhere. You've got Geordies and Mackhams, and it means, like, and it's not just that, this derby goes back, and I don't want to go, it goes way back into, like, politics from the king, whatever, but it goes way back, but we can't show our faces as fans if we get beat, you know. It's like,
but the thing is, Lee, the questions will be asked and the pressure will be cranked up in January regardless, because this could be 5 defeats in a row if we're not careful. Like, we've got 3 very, very difficult games. You're talking about a team that probably going to end up being top of the table by the end of the day. You've got Man City, who are arguably the best team in the world. According to what the FIFA says, they are the best team in the world. And you've got a team that haven't lost a home game all season, Aston Villa, and we're going to Villa Park on a Tuesday night, which we haven't got the best records in recent time. And then you throw in that Sunderland game in the middle of it. This is probably the biggest amount of interest in regards to how Eddie Howe's going to cope with this.
And it's a test.
It's a massive test.
To see where he comes from, because it's all been honeymoon period. We haven't had a blip, and now this is his worst spell as a manager.
It is
with us.
It is. You have to say he's got so many injuries, but the injuries are kind of slowly and surely coming back. The only blessing that he's got is the fact that we've got a full week in between games, and there's a mid-season break, if you like, where he's got 2 weeks from that Man City game to the potential FA Cup 4th round, and then Villa on the horizon after that. You've got to think. Like I say,
I might have another trip abroad.
Yeah, but when did like, for me, how many days off do you give the players? Do you give them a day off? Do you give them 2 days off? Do you give them 3 days off? Like,
well, we know Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe will go home tonight and he's already talked about it. He'll think on it and think on it. It'll be on his mind, because that's the sort of person. Football's switched on. There's a light bulb in there, like literally 18 hours a day.
The thing is, though, like we're expected to lose Liverpool, like we are, but we need to show some sort of performance going to that Sunderland game, because, like I say, Sunderland aren't playing well either. But we have to at least look like that we can go to Anfield and actually get something. Like last season, we were so close to doing so. But Liverpool are our bogey team at the minute. We can't seem to get anything off them at the minute.
Everybody's our bogey team at the minute. Well, look, we want to know what you think as well. Appreciate you staying with us this long.
Sorry, just quickly one thing. I must say, Lewis Miley was absolutely outstanding today. He very, very rarely gave the ball away. He got stuck in. I just have to mention that, because I know it comes across so negative, but the pass that he made for that first goal was beyond his years. Like, he shouldn't be making that pass, and arguably man of the match today. Maybe man of the match today for Newcastle. I just wanted to put that there, because he is, at the minute, a 17-year-old kid that has to be starting every week now. He has to start against Liverpool.
You know, an artist's disappointment. However, drop us a like. We'll appreciate that as well. Yeah, we've been haunted by Scrooge the ghost, haven't we, today, literally. But we'll move on to the new year. We've got Liverpool, of course. Well, that is it, everybody. That's the last word. That's the vlog. We're all really, really disappointed. I can't lie to you. Yeah.